Hello, this is Jen with American Knitter, and today I'm going to show you one of my favorite stitches, and that is the Granite stitch. And I'm going to do that with the purple yarn right here, and I'm going to add it to one of my projects I'm working on. The Granite stitch is one of my favorites because it's pretty versatile and it's easy to do on hats or scarves or whatever, because all you need to do is make sure that you cast on in sets of 2. Okay, so I actually have 54 for what I'm doing, but it just has to be an even number for this for the Granite stitch, and it takes 4 rows to complete the stitch. So I will just go through all 4 rows with you. So row number 1 for the Granite stitch is you just knit across all the way. Okay, so this is nice and easy, starting out with just the first row being knit. Okay. You can do this with obviously any size yarn or, needles. I'm doing it nice and bulky so that you can see all of these stitches. If I did it with smaller yarn, I think it would be smaller to see. So I'm actually making a bun beanie, and I will show you how to make a bun beanie here pretty soon in one of my upcoming videos. So this one I'm going to use the Granite stitch on for my bun beanie. So I will show you how to do the Granite stitch. All right, so I'll just keep knitting across. So keep knitting all the way to the end, and then I will show you what to do in just a moment when we turn around. All right, I'm almost to the end of the row. So first row, knit across, okay? So there we go. Everything is knit on the purple, because the purple is the one that we're doing the Granite stitch on. The silver one is just a ribbed stitch, so the purple is the Granite stitch. Okay, so I turn around, and now we are going to do row number 2, okay? And row 2 is you knit 2 together all the way across. And knitting 2 together is when you're going to take 2 of the stitches instead of just 1, okay? And we're just going to knit those 2 together, okay? So you just do that all the way across. Like I said, I'm using bulky yarn. This is bulky, like size 6, and my needles that I'm using are a 15, so just in case you're wondering what I am using. All right, so knitting 2 together all the way across. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Okay. I like this stitch. It actually goes pretty quickly, so I like doing this on beanies and stuff. It just makes them go really quick. Okay, so keep knitting 2 together to the end of the row. Okay, and then we will go to row 3. Okay, down to the last 4, so 2 more stitches to go, or 2 more knits, right? So knit 2 together and knit 2 together. So we have now reduced the number of stitches by half by knitting 2 together, and we're going to add that stitch that we took out now on this row. So row 3, this one is a little bit tricky, but you get the hang of it, and it's not hard at all, and it goes really quickly once you get the hang of it. So what we're going to do for row 3 is you knit, hold on one sec, there we go. Okay, so you're going to knit, okay, and you're not going to take that loop off, okay, and instead you're going to purl into the same loop. Oh, I think I might have pulled it out of the camera just for a sec. Okay, so I'll do it again. So now you have 2, okay, when you started on the 1. So we're adding that 1 stitch that we took out, okay? So here we go again. So we're going to knit, and in the same stitch, we're going to then purl, okay? So now we're up to 4, even though we've done only 2 on this side. Okay, so you knit, don't take it off, and then purl into the same. Okay, so you just do that all the way across. Like I said, it's a little tricky at first, but once you get used to it, you can move pretty quickly. So knit, don't take it off. We're not going to take it off because we're going to purl into the same stitch. Okay, there we go. So keep going. So we're adding back that stitch we took off. Oops. Okay, so make sure it doesn't come off. You're going to cross it over and purl. Okay, so this is what it's starting to look like. There you go. Okay, so just keep doing that all the way to the end. Knit, don't take it off your needle, right? Bring the yarn around to the front and purl. Okay, knit and purl. Whoops, I kind of messed up. Knit and purl. There we go. Okay. All right, so do that to the end, and then I'll show you what to do for the final row. Like I said, you only need 4 rows to do the granite stitch. But it's hard to see the granite stitch, really what it looks like, until you do more than the 4. So I'll knit up a couple so you can see what it looks like. Okay, all right, so do that to the end, knit and purl into the same stitch. All right, I'm on the last stitch, so knit, don't take off that stitch. You're going to bring the yarn to the front. Okay, and then, ooh, having a hard time with this one. Okay, there we go. And then purl. Okay, so knit and purl into the same stitch. So I am now back to my original 54 that I started with. Okay, so, and that is the end of row 3. So now we're just going to turn it around and we're going to purl this entire row. So bring the yarn to the front, and we're just going to purl to the end. Okay, so this is our 4th and final row for the granite stitch. So the first row is knitting across, the second row is knitting 2 together, the third row is knitting and purling into the same stitch, and then the 4th and final row is purl across, okay, which is what we are doing now. And I'm really liking this yarn. I think it's just really pretty, so I will take a second and just show you what it is. So it is from Loops and Threads, and the color is Velvet. Oops, I don't know if you can see that. There we go. So the color is Velvet, and it's a super bulky 6, and I really like the color. It's just a very pretty purple indigo color, so I'm really loving this one. All right, so keep purling to the end, and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done with row 4, and then we'll do one more set so that you can really get a chance to see what it looks like, because it's kind of hard to see when you only do one set. So, okay, keep purling across all the way to the end. All right, just finishing this up, the last 3 of the 4th row, just finishing purling. All right, so there we have it. That is the granite stitch. And like I said, it's a little hard to really get a good look at it until you do a little further, because you can see how you have that nice, where it's been knitted together, so it's purled on this side, and then you have a little bit of the crossed, one in the front and one in the back look. So I will do one more set and you'll be able to see more what it looks like. Okay, so we starting over with our second set, right? So our first row is to knit across. Okay, so here we go. Whoop. There we go. Okay, so we're going to knit all the way across again for our second set of the granite stitch. So just knit all the way to the end. Okay, so there's row 1 of our second set. So so I knit across, and now we are going to knit 2 together. It's the second row of the granite stitch, right? Okay, so back to knitting 2 together. And this will reduce the amount of stitches we have on the needle by half. And then on the third row, we add it back together. Okay, so keep knitting 2 together. Okay, all the way to the end. Okay. Okay, done with row 2. And you can start to kind of see how that granite stitch looks. I just like the bulky texture of the granite stitch. It's really pretty, very fun. Okay, so we have now reduced our stitches by half, okay, and we're going to add that stitch back in. So here's row number 3 again of the granite stitch, where you knit, and in the same stitch, you are then going to purl. Okay, so 2 for 1. 2 for 1 is what we're doing here. Okay, so we knit, leave it on the needle, bring it around, and then purl. Okay, I hope I'm keeping that in the camera. Okay, knit, leave it on, bring it around, and then purl. There we go. Okay, so we get 2 stitches for every one that we're taking off of this needle. Okay, all right, so keep doing that. 1, oh, and now I'm troubling. Okay, there we go. And 2, okay. And I will show you actually a completed bun beanie that I've done that has this granite stitch. That might be easier to see what it's going to look like in the end. Okay, so keep doing this all the way to the end. So you're going to knit and purl in the same stitch all the way to the end of row 3. All right, and we are now back to row 4, the last row of the granite stitch, and we're purling across. Okay, let me just get that set up. So purl across to the end. So again, for recap, I think this is the 3rd time, but so row 1 is knit all the way, row 2 is knit 2 together, row 3 is knit and purl in the same stitch, and row 4 is purl all the way. Okay, so keep doing that to the end, and I will show you how it looks when it is all completed. Okay. All right, and there is 2 sets of the granite stitch. That is 8 rows. The purple is the granite stitch right there. So hopefully you can see how that turned out. Okay, and I have another example of the granite stitch. Might give you a better idea of what it looks like when it's all done. So right here, this is 4 rows of granite stitch in multicolor. So it's just a nice stitch. It's kind of bulky. It has some nice texture to it, and it's not too hard to do. It's pretty easy. It goes along pretty quickly. Okay, so if you have any questions, please put them in the comments. If you're having trouble finding any of these items to purchase, the links are in the description below, also including if you want to buy any of the beanies that I'm actually making. So I do have a store where I sell some of my knitting items, or the items that I knit. Please be sure to subscribe to American Knitter. We do have other projects that we'll be putting up here, including the bun beanie actually that I'm making right now. So I will have a tutorial up on how to do the bun beanie. And also make sure you ring the bell so you get notified of when that is up. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all later. Have a great day.